I hope you're doing well. I wanted to come at you and add a little bit of context, or not necessarily context. I just wanted to add some audio to this video so that it's not music and montage. But I don't really know how to do a voice memo, so bear with me. This is kind of unrehearsed, just my thoughts, no affiliation. But I wanted to just say a big thank you if you're here, if you're watching, if you're present, because honestly, these videos are for me, which is why I think in my last two videos I was a little bit emotionally vulnerable and not necessarily thinking about it. But then I got super embarrassed and I was like, why are you sharing yourself? Why are you presenting yourself? Why are you, putting yourself out there? And I honestly have yet to fully figure that piece of it out. I just know that I like making videos. I don't have enough storage on my computer or phone or any device to store these videos, so why not just put them out into the void of the internet, I figured I would just take a little seat here and share what it is that I'm going through, experiencing, feeling, whatever perspective my mind has, or whatever visuals I'm seeing, both with my own eyes, my mind's eye, honestly, I want to have eyes on me, because I want to see what it is that I'm doing, how I'm navigating certain situations, how I'm feeling day to day, what it is that I'm doing, going through. I really just want to capture it all, and from there see the way that I have changed, because these clips are old. They're maybe I'm 2 months behind on editing, so I'm very much so a different version of myself by the time that I come across these videos. And I like it. It's bittersweet to see both me going through the motions and then me on the other side of them. So I just kind of wanted to maybe start including this, and where I'm doing the video version and then editing notes. So don't really know what that's going to look like, or if this is going to sound good. I don't really have a mic on me. I need to be better about it, but we know how that goes. I really just wanted to pop in here and provide some context, because again, my last two videos are a little bit emotional, and I'm a vulnerable girly, but I've never been vulnerable online. I barely really share anything online, and I don't know what compelled me to want to do this, honestly. I just know that this is something I've always enjoyed doing, and I've been vlogging and editing and doing this reflective piece of my life for about 2-3 years now. So I just really have the urge to share it, and whatever I'm going through, I'm hoping that it is able to help somebody else go through it in their own ways. Within these videos, I see myself trying. I don't necessarily know what it is that I'm trying for. I just feel myself wanting to get out of the mental blocks that I have been in and hold over myself. I also see the way that God is working in my life. I'm going to be honest. I very much was living out of my own will for most of my life, very much so seeking flesh-based desires, trying to think that I knew what it is that I wanted and I knew how to get there. But here I am 27 years later, and I don't want to do this anymore. In my own ways, at least. I want to just surrender it. And there's obviously a plan, there's a guide, because I've always been taken care of. I've always been provided for and loved and cared for. So clearly somebody's doing all that, and I know it's God. And I know that the more that I continue to surrender my will and just follow the steps that are already before me, it's going to be a lot easier for myself to just get through this life. I have been through a lot of things, but I've allowed those things to affect the way that I show up in this world and the way that I move about, and I don't really want to do that anymore. I think that we're always going to be going through things, and the real testament of it is not letting everything shake you, you know? So I want to be less shakeable. I want to be more grounded in my routine. And I see that within these videos. Like, I see the way that I pick up my devotional, and I see the way that I'm reading my Bible. I see the way I'm doing my morning pages and reflecting on them. And I highly recommend, if you are not documenting or doing voice memos, taking clips of your day to day, that you start in any way, shape, or form that may look like. Just document your life, document what you're feeling, what you're experiencing. And it's just going to be so beneficial to see, one, the way that you used to think, the way that you used to behave, the way that you used to act, and see if it's any different from now. And honestly, if it's not any different, question it. Question why you're doing the same things that keep you stuck. Question why you're doing the same things that are out of alignment. Question why you've been shown time and time again certain people, places, situations are not good for you, yet you feel like you belong there. Question it and reflect on it, surrender it, and meditate upon it, because the more that you do that, the quicker it's going to be. I don't want to say quick. Healing is not quick. Healing is non-linear. So I don't want to say quick, but I honestly have seen, just in the 2 months from these videos, I do feel a lot better. And I know that only God could have done that, because these are all things that I've done in the past. But now, with my focus on it and the intention being behind it, like letting God handle all things and purify and renew my heart and my spirit, it's showing a lot faster than whatever I was doing before on my own. And again, healing is non-linear. So I know, just as much as I'm feeling good right now, there's tomorrow I could easily just start feeling bad again. And I think the surrender part of this has been a little bit difficult for me, just because I've always held on to everything that's been handed to me, feeling like it's the only thing, like the only thing I'm gonna get, the only situation, the only way of being. And so I try to steward it and I try to grasp onto it. But what I'm learning is that you have to be with an open hand in this life. You can't just be holding on to things. And honestly, this is just kind of my way of letting it go. As much as I'm holding on, I'm letting it go within these videos. I'm letting it go within these past versions of myself. And by the time that I'm seeing them and reflecting on them and editing on them, I'm already a different version of me. And it's just been able to allow myself to hold so much more light and love and compassion for the version of me that's been doing the work and sitting in the discomfort and, seeking and searching for other ways to feel, live, and exist. And so, yeah, these are just my thoughts. I'm out of video, so I'm gonna have to back this up a little bit so that it makes sense. But yeah, I just want to say thank you for being here in any shape or form that you are. I've been having a lot of doubts lately about being perceived and putting myself out there, just because, again, I'm a vulnerable person, but I've never been vulnerable online. But honestly, I love it. I don't want to sugarcoat or hide what it is that I'm experiencing, because then that would mean that I'm somehow ashamed of what I'm experiencing, and that's a big fat lie. So here's to doing things from a place of love instead of a place of seeking to receive something for it. Because again, I've always liked making videos. I've always been vulnerable in my videos. I've always put myself and my heart into them. So that shouldn't stop just because I made the decision to start sharing them. And yeah, I just, again, want to thank you if you're here. It truly means the world to me. But I realize who's not meant to see this will not see it. Nobody who doesn't want to stay longer or hear or have to, listen to what it is that I have to say, nobody's going to stick around. The people that are here are the people that are wanting to be here. And so for that reason, I feel that I deserve to be authentic within it. And yeah, I don't really know what it's going to look like moving forward, but I'm excited to see. I'm excited to take this little seat on the internet and see where it goes. Not necessarily expecting it to go anywhere, but I do see myself growing every day, and I know that the more people that find me, the more I'm going to probably want to shift the narrative and like do things for the aesthetics of it. But I always want to remind myself that at my core, these videos are for me. They're for my future self. They're for the past versions of me. They're for my family to see. We don't really communicate as much, even though we're all, grew up with each other and love each other. Life is just hard. And so I want to just think of this as my little memoir, my autobiography of who I am, what I'm experiencing and feeling. And while it's not in real time, it's damn near close. So I just kind of want to see and feel my way through this. And I want to thank you for being here along the ride if you are. And if you're not even here to hear these words. So what does it all really matter? But yes, I just want to again thank you for being here. Thank you for your time, your energy, your participation, and my observation. The observation of me, the witnessing of me. I thank you for it. And be nice, but make sure you leave a comment, you like, you subscribe, do all of the YouTube things, and just know that I appreciate your time and I wish you the best. I'll catch you in the next one.